What up? I'm Bea and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things true crime and current events. Today we're going to be taking a look at a video created by a YouTuber named SHALLON Lester, and I'm sure you've seen her name all over YouTube. A few weeks ago, D'Angelo Wallace, another YouTuber, created a video about her talking about many of the problematic things that she has done in the past and is still currently doing, and basically just kind of calling her out and saying this stuff is not okay. This has since led to a ton of other people taking a look into her, watching videos on her channel, her spreading lies about D'Angelo, saying that he doxed her and gave out her personal home address. Tons of lies, tons of drama. It's really not cool. Like, it's interesting to me the fact that she's been able to go kind of unchecked for so long, because one of the biggest things is she talks about like celebrities and drama and current events, but she kind of relates it to mental health, and she does this in a way that is not very helpful. It's very much kind of bringing celebrities down and being very harsh and aggressive and saying things that like people have addictions. Like, she's basically diagnosing people and saying inflammatory things about them and dangerous things about them to incite rage and to get a reaction out of her audience. But a lot of these things she would not be qualified to say. She wouldn't be qualified to make these distinctions or diagnoses even if she did know these people in person, because she's not a doctor. And so it's just a ton of stuff that is not okay. And when I first started seeing her name pop up here and there, it sounded familiar, and I thought I knew, I was like, I know her from somewhere. Where is it? And then it hit me. And I'm gonna expose myself just a little bit here, because about a year ago, I kind of started on this internal journey to kind of figure out more about myself and more about my personality and the type of person I want to be and where I want to go and what goals I wanted to have. And so it started this kind of personal revolution within myself. And so I was consuming a lot of personal development content, a lot of like empowering for women, and we're strong and we can accomplish anything. And I know that it's kind of cheesy, but that's what I was doing, and I stand by it because I think I learned a lot of good stuff. But during this time, I saw a video called How to Be Confident Like Rihanna, 3 Ways to Become an Alpha Female. And I was like, yes, this is it. And so I clicked on the video and I watched it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes before I realized this was not the type of content for me. This wasn't the type of dialogue I wanted to have surrounding other people. And I don't remember what it was exactly that made me click off of this video, but there was a lot within the first few minutes there. So I figured today we would take a look at one of SHALLON's videos because it's very topical, and we should go ahead and watch the How to Be Confident Like Rihanna video and see if maybe I just missed out on some really good, solid advice. Before we get into that, I will just give some base stats about SHALLON. She's been on YouTube since 2006, but it wasn't until around 2012 that she really started uploading a little bit more consistently. At last known check, I guess, from Social Blade, she had 349,000 subscribers, but she has since made her subscriber count private. Presumably because of all the attention that she's getting from D'Angelo Wallace, and she probably doesn't want her audience who isn't aware of those videos to see how far she's dropping, because there were a few days there where she was consistently going down by between 2,000 and 5,000 subscribers per day. She gets a good amount of views, anywhere from 50,000 to 300,000 views per video. I looked at the last probably 20-30 of them. I don't know how this whole situation is going to impact those views, but I guess only time will tell. And as far as stats on her, that's all we've got. So let's go ahead and just get into the video and see what she's got to say about becoming confident like Rihanna, 3 ways to become an alpha female. I did just want to give a reminder that I do have a membership option now. If you want to be part of the Off Limits crew, it is $1.99 per month. You're going to get access to an exclusive section of the community tab, as well as a members only live stream on the second Tuesday of every month, and additional live streams kind of whenever something pops up that we want to talk about. I had the first live stream this past Saturday and it was super interesting. We had some really great conversation about OnlyFans, relationship dynamics, iDubbbz and his girlfriend Anissa, as well as the investigation into Davi Vanity and what exactly it is that he's being looked into for. It was just a really, really interesting time and it was really fun. So if you want to go ahead and join and support me in that way, that would be awesome. The join button is below and I would love to see you in there.
Welcome back, Shalloners. Today I want to continue my series on self-esteem, warm-blooded versus cold-blooded animals, and most importantly, Rihanna. Because I did a video the other day about how Rihanna is kind of like the anti-Kylie Jenner, right? Like, in terms of self-esteem, Rihanna is confident and cool and quiet in her confidence. She is a warm-blooded animal. She doesn't need any validation from the outside world. I mean, a little, we all do. But Kylie's the opposite. She needs constant selfies, constant enormous makeup situations, tons of plastic surgery, because she needs constant validation from the world, because as a cold-blooded animal, she can't regulate who she is inside.
Okay, this was one of the things right off the bat that I was like, I've never heard of comparing like cold-blooded females and warm-blooded females. It sounded weird to me, and I don't like the instant pitting of two people against each other, especially when it comes to women and how they express themselves. You don't know Kylie's reason for wanting to get plastic surgery, fillers, taking selfies, doing makeup. Maybe part of it is because she wants validation, and maybe part of it is just because she likes it, and that's how she wants to look, and that's how she feels confident, and who are you to judge her? I just remember right off the bat being like, oh, I just don't like comparing women in that way.
And a lot of you guys are like, okay, I want to be an alpha like Rihanna, but I don't know how. And this is what we're going to talk about today. How to become an alpha female.
That's
but first,
what I
just want to
wanted.
remind you guys, if you have a love question of your own or want to talk with me privately about any little thing, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO, and click chat to get connected. Also follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you guys weigh in on the next video topic and connect with me directly. And be sure to listen to my new podcast, Girl on Top, out every place podcasts are found. And on the podcast, I answer your best questions over the course of the week. So, alpha femaleness.
Cool.
Alpha females are sometimes born, but they can also be made. Why? Because this is America and we can become whoever we want to be. Same in whatever country you're in. You can become whatever you want to be. Yep. And it's really important to note, first and foremost, that people aren't only alphas or betas. You know, people are just people. And when I talk about beta males are a very specific sort of gremlin person.
If I remember correctly, this is going to get very aggressive, and that was the second thing that put me off.
Actively seek to oppress others. You know, they don't have the confidence, so they do what psychologists call leveling. And when you don't feel confident in a certain arena, probably all of them, you either puff yourself up, right, to rise to the level of where you want to be, or you cut other people down. So when you see that behavior in other people, and usually no one just does what? They're puffing themselves up and they're cutting other people down.
Okay.
Donald Trump, not an alpha male. And if you think that he is, and if you support him, you can go ahead and X on out of the show. But you don't like it, don't watch. So when you see that, you're like, aha.
So I don't understand the thought of, if you don't like what I have to say, leave. Like, I'm somebody who very much would like to say, if you have a different opinion than me, share it. Like, let's have a chat. Let's see if we can find some common ground. I don't care how she feels about any politician or any person. She's entitled to whatever opinion she wants, as is everyone. But there's just something about the attitude of, if you don't like it, leave. Exit out of the channel. Like, no, like, let's have a convo, because other people's opinions, whether it's about this or something else, like, there's value in being able to talk to people who have a different opinion than you.
That's a beta male. But like I said, not everyone is one or the other. We don't have just like leaders in this world and shitbirds. Like we have a lot of good people in between who are just doing their thing. But I understand the need to want to rise to that like boss bitch category. And I think any girl who has become that had to have this sort of come to Jesus moment with herself, right? I did. And and it's not usually just one time that you sit down with yourself. You're like, I want to revolutionize my career, my body, my social life, my whatever. It happens a lot. And it can seem overwhelming if this is the first time you're having that talk with yourself because you're probably throwing it all out there. I want to revolutionize my career, my body, my social life, my romantic, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You got to start small. I live in New York City. I'm a magazine editor. I'm an author. I'm a YouTuber. And it's like, I and all my friends wrestle with the question of, can you really have it all? I'm not a wife. I'm not a mom. I was a wife. Opted out of that. I could be a mom if I wanted. But like, then certain things have to kind of deprioritize. And so the concept of can we have it all really resonates a lot for girls as we get older because, yeah, like, this is the thing. You can have it all, just not at the exact same time. You know what I mean? I mean, just think about in the micro. Like, yes, you can do a bunch of cool things over your summer break, but you can't do them all in one day. You have to prioritize and you have to meter it out in a way that makes sense and a way that's sane. Otherwise, you're going to throw everything you have out there and you're going to fail at all of it. And then you're going to be like, I'm a failure overall. And you're going to get that failure mentality. And you need to have an abundant mentality. So focus on a category you want to start with. I really think it's beneficial to start with ourselves. Because what you're probably thinking is, I want to be a boss.
It's all about yourself.
And get the best guy at my school. Or I want to be a boss and have 1 million friends. Okay, of course.
What kind of mentality is that? Like she's, this isn't about like age shaming or anything, but she's nearing 40. And this video was made last year. Like, why are you, I guess, catering towards that immature mentality of like, I want to have 1 million friends. I want to get the best guy at my school. Like that just seems very immature. But I don't know. It's just a question. Not that it's bad or anything. It's just kind of off-putting.
Those things, those social connections are byproducts of the work we have to do inside first, right? I always say you can't be half of a whole, whether that's a whole relationship with a boy, a whole best friendship, a whole good relationship with your sister, whatever it might be. If you don't know what half you are, you gotta know what you bring to the table, because if you don't, first of all, no one's gonna know what they can connect to you. It's like, well, who are you? You're just sort of this amorphous emotional blob, and I don't know what personality aspects I can connect to as your friend, as your boyfriend, as your sister, as whatever. And also, you aren't gonna know what you need, right? Maybe you actually don't need the party friend, the wild and crazy friend, because you have enough of that like going on in yourself, you know? Maybe you actually need someone who's going to bring it down a little bit, who's going to tap into the dorky sides of your personality because you don't have those things developed yet, right? So we got to get with ourselves. And I know. Nobody wants to do that. It's very painful. The most difficult work we have as humans is to sit inside ourselves and be like, here I am. Here I am. But you know what?
Okay.
Everywhere you go, there you are. You can't outrun who you are. You can't outrun who you need. I mean, you can try. People do. They end up on meth. And they're running their all over a cornfield in the middle of the night screaming about aliens. Like, you can...
Okay. I know I didn't hear this when I watched it, so I must have clicked out at some point after the beta male comment and between running around a cornfield on meth. And I think it partially was just because it didn't feel like it was targeted to someone in my age group. You know, it seems like she's angling towards kind of a younger audience, and I wasn't resonating with it because I remember it wasn't anything specifically that made me click off. It was just like, I don't like that you're comparing women. I don't like that you're not like open to hearing other people's opinions or like having subscribers who have different opinions than you, even if your own opinions don't change, like being accepting of people who are different. And then just the fact that it didn't feel like it resonated with me. So this is completely new information. If you don't know who you are, you're going to turn to meth and run around and see aliens. So this is a good tip. If you want to avoid becoming an addict, apparently, you gotta do this work. So let's hear the tips. Let's see how we can become an alpha female. I'm ready.
Do that. It's not a great way to live, and it kind of doesn't solve the problem, and then you've made a bigger problem on top of this. So, like I said, you're probably going to want to start with like every single category at once. I really believe strongly in working on our bodies, and not to look good. It's not about bikini body. It's not about being a size whatever. It's about feeling in control of your real estate, because our personhood is our home. It's our real estate. It's our house. We live inside it 24 hours a day. So if you were like, I want to get my life in order, where would you probably start? Getting your house in order, right? I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to open 3 weeks worth of mail. I hate checking my mail. Literally, I only want to hire an assistant so that someone will check my mail and tell me the bad news like in person, so I don't, it gives me hot just thinking about it. Blah.
Calm down.
You would start with like actual things inside your house before you were like, let's tear down all the walls. You'd be like, well, let's put away our clothes first. Let's see what we're working with here. So let's clean up our personhood. Let's get physical. Let's get active. Let's get out there being physical. And I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're walking around a lake every single night, feeding the ducks, naming all of them, building a rapport with the geese. Fine. Moving gives you endorphins. Endorphins creates the oxytocin, like the happiness chemical, right? And the dopamine. And it's going to make you feel better about yourself. And it can be really hard to start like moving and like getting up and being physical. It seems overwhelming. Like when you get so bored, you don't want to do anything. That feeling like if you run out of stuff to do at work and then you're like, no one needs to ever assign me anything ever again. No, you stagnate. And really moving your body helps with that. Getting up and walking around. Take a dance class. Go ice skating. Go to the Natural History Museum and learn about dinosaurs. Make sure it's something active. Notice I said learn about dinosaurs. That wasn't an accident. Why? Because part number 2 of this is to tap into the dorky you. We all have an inner dork. And as we get older and it happens around puberty, when it's no longer cool to like wear rainbow light up sneakers and orange pants and purple eyeshadow and talk about dinosaurs all the time, you have to be talking about boys and fashion and clothes and Shawn Mendes. I'm describing myself. But
this tilts to, she said Shawn Mendes, who is pretty young. So Shawn Mendes is 21, and there's been a pattern of behavior and a pattern of dialogue coming from her about being interested in younger men and wanting to date younger men and having inappropriate dreams about Justin Bieber when he was underage. And so that's obviously not what this video is about, but I do think it's interesting that even within this, when she's not talking about specifically what she's attracted to or who she's attracted to or her dating life, she still shows that she has that tilt towards people who are significantly younger than her, which when it's by that much and they're that close to being underage, is kind of just a little bit sketchy. Just not my favorite thing in the world.
We, as women especially, are taught to push that dorkiness aside. It's time to become a woman. And surely that can't walk hand in hand with being glamorous and desirable. Yes, it can. You know why? Because interesting people, and alphas are interesting, have interests. They have interests. I was talking to a girl today. She's like, I don't know why I never get second dates. I really try to be like as friendly and agreeable as possible on my first date. And it's like, guys never call me back. I'm like, yeah, because they don't know what they're connecting to. You aren't leading with your interests. You're not leading with a personality. And I talked before about leading with sweetness on dates in my Rihanna video. I used to think that leading with my interests meant I was like aggressive and blah, 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 and here's everything they're doing. Rah! Like,
oh my gosh. This is just a personality difference. This is very high energy. I just don't resonate with it.
Screaming my resume from the halls. And it's not. It's not. It means you can talk to people about a variety of different things because you yourself are a variety of different dimensions, right? And I know that you are. I know that you are. And if you're not, it's time to be. So how do we do that? Say that you don't have a weird dinosaur aspect of yourself or whatever it might be. marine biology, space. It's usually something nerdy, something having to do with nature maybe, or the arts, painting, reading, poetry. If you...
Who are you to qualify that stuff as nerdy? Like, that's just literally things that people like. What?
Never got the chance to really lean into that, today is the day. Make time for dorkiness. And I know you're probably thinking, that's what creates an alpha? Yeah. Because like I said, an interesting person has interests. And it's also going to give you empathy to connect with a lot of other people. I am a very diverse person. I play instruments. I speak a bunch of languages. I was in Army ROTC. I did bull riding. I played hockey. Like, I'm obviously a writer. I write songs, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do a lot of different things because I want to be able to talk to a lot of different people. And on some level, I know that all of my weird hobbies are sort of like socially self-serving. It's like, I want to learn another language so that when I'm at a party, I can be like, yeah, I'm learning Portuguese. Like, yes, that's like selfish and maybe shallow, but I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm doing it and I'm still pursuing it and it's still diversifying me. And who cares if maybe my initial motive to be like a little bit more interesting at a cocktail party?
Speak Portuguese right now. I want to hear it. She said a bunch of different languages. I want proof at this minute that she actually is competent in those other languages.
And show this girl who's a model and that's kind of all she does is she's tall and pretty for a living. But
that's so not okay to just automatically discount the personality of somebody because their profession is based on their looks. Why? Like, how is that alpha of you?
And maybe a little less pretty, but I'm more interesting, you know? And okay, so that's my initial motive. It doesn't matter because the ends justifies the means. And by the time I get there, by the time I've completed my course in my next language, I have diversified myself. And I've forgotten that initial reason. I'm like, oh, I don't really care if somebody at a party, I don't care. I don't care what they think because I think something great about myself now. And that's where the dorkiness gets you. It gets you that self-worth and that pride and the knowledge of yourself because like I said, right, you can't be half the whole if you don't know what half you are. Now I know. Now I have another data point. I know who I am. I'm that international girl. I'm the jet set. I have a brain and it works for more than picking out an outfit and stalking Shawn Mendes. It works for something that has really enriched my life that I'm going to take with me forever. So that confidence is also going to turn red flags into deal breakers.
This is so judgmental of the interests of other people. It's very stunning to me. I guess it shouldn't be. I mean, I've heard all the things. I've watched several different videos about her and the types of things that she says and the way she's very judgmental of people and doesn't necessarily give the most helpful advice. And not that this is bad advice to be to develop your own interests and work on your own hobbies and have your own things that you're working on, because I completely support that. But the fact that you're saying it's like, be a dork, it's a dorky thing, it's better than looking at outfits. Like, what? Fashion is fashion is a great hobby. It can be a great career path. Like, just because you're interested in fashion doesn't automatically make somebody very ditzy or dumb or uninteresting. You're not better because you're learning 6 languages on Duolingo in your free time. Like, it's stunning to me, honestly.
What did I just say? This is another part of being an alpha. You know your boundaries, right? If we think of like an alpha wolf, an alpha male wolf who leads the pack, he knows what he is going to allow, what threats he will deem as viable and what's not, because he knows exactly what that pack needs. He knows exactly what the boundaries are, right? We as humans are the same way. When you know yourself and when you're confident about who you are, that means you understand what it is you need. And that means you can evaluate people and be like, pew, 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 don't need any of you. I can see through the bullshit. I can see what it is you're really after. Maybe just sex. Maybe using me on Snapchat as an emotional fidget spinner when you're bored and just snapping me stupid pictures. Maybe it's a job that it's like, you're actually not ever going to get me that raise. I'm never going to have a corner office here, so I'm moving on because I know who I am I know what I need. I know what my value is and my worth because I work on myself. And now I can see that these red flags, that's what I would call them when I didn't know myself, when I wasn't very confident. Actually, they're deal breakers.
Alright.
Oh, you're rude to a waitress? That's a red flag. Not no more, it ain't. That's a deal breaker because I know what that actually is. That might seem like a topic. Yeah, it's just a topic. Okay, fine. He's rude to like waiters and waitstaff. What that actually indicates is that someone is a beta male, right? They oppress other people. They need to cut other people down to feel better about themselves.
I don't get the like labeling of people like that. Like maybe it works and it helps her, I don't know, categorize the way she sees things socially, and it helps her understand the types of people she wants to be around. But I just think it's interesting. I would never think to do that on my own, to label people like that. It's just interesting.
Their only source of personal power is being mean to the guy making my taco who immigrated here from Guatemala and literally doesn't need your shit. Sorry, Connor. And so now I can look at that and be like, out. Because what an alpha doesn't do is waste her time.
Okay, so now we're just assuming people's backgrounds and history to make ourselves potentially seem more sympathetic and empathetic to things that people potentially could have gone through without actually knowing. Okay.
And that's the thing with learning about them. And that's the thing that a lot of us get tripped up on. We see another alpha female and we immediately feel jealous. We experience that leveling, you know? It's like, Kelsey, I don't want to be around her. She's such a bitch. It's like, maybe she's not a bitch. Maybe she's just popular and she's on JV lacrosse or varsity lacrosse, whatever. It's like, maybe she actually has something you can learn from. So it's really, really, really easy for us to try to cut down other alphas when we see them because we feel inferior. And so it's like, I can't let my ego stand near this person. You know, like I can't sit inside my real estate. I'd so much rather be inside hers. No. You can't. Like, you can't jump into Rihanna. I wish. But what we can do is lean into that. I learned a long time ago to get closer to people I initially think I don't like. I mean, if it's like an instinctive thing, there's this girl and she's friends with a friend and I'm like, I don't like you. And we just don't like each other. We're like oil and water. She's always got something smart to say. Like, you really want to say something smart to me? Do I seem like the kind of person who can't come up with anything back? Try it. So,
oh my God.
That kind of dynamic aside, if I see a girl who, and I know how to identify now someone I just don't like and someone who I'm actually secretly jealous of, and I lean into that jealousy. I get closer to her. I learn about what makes her tick. I learn from her because people like to be asked questions and they like to feel like an expert. So if I see a girl who's got a great body, like I do this all the time in a locker room, not all the time because that would be weird, but I'm like, you have like great muscle tone. Tell me what your workouts are. And girls are like, oh, let me tell you. I do bar class and soul cycle bubble. Like people love to feel like an expert in whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, I've gained some knowledge. Or you get close enough to people that you think you envy and you're like, actually, she's not that cool. You know who is cool? Me. What?
That's so rude. Okay, so it really seems like a lot of her attitude really just is pitting women against each other, whether it be comparing alpha females and beta females or females who have dorky interests that make them worth talking to versus those who just like fashion and that automatically disqualifies them from being interesting, or whether it is finding someone that you initially see as cool and getting to know them and then realizing, oh, they're not that cool. Why are you judging them? Why are you judging if they're cool or not? I don't know what the thought is there. If you see somebody from afar and you think they're cool and then you get to know them, maybe you just don't get along, or maybe you guys aren't, like, personality-wise, you're not fit. It's not all of a sudden, oh, well, you're not that cool. Like, unless they're, like, a mean person, then I can see. But I feel like that is such an exhausting approach to have, because there are so many people who do cool things that just aren't what I'm interested in. you know, and it doesn't make anybody better than anybody else. It's just, oh, you're super into this. I'm not. I guess we're not gonna, you know, have too much to talk about when it comes to this, or you value certain things differently than I do, and so maybe we're not gonna like have the best time like conversating and getting along, you know. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but I just don't understand the point in trying to determine who's cool and who's not and who's an alpha and who's a beta. Like, worry about yourself. Why are you so concerned with comparing women? It's not, it just doesn't seem like a healthy thing to spend your time on, in my opinion.
Because I've done the work. And that's the thing with Kylie Jenner, right? We look at her and it's like, wow, this life. And she's so like popular and she's 140 million followers, blah, blah, blah. And then you lean in and you're like, oh, baby girl, damn. You understand the psychology behind her because I've told you and I'm a genius. You lean in closer to Rihanna and you're like,
that's so rude. You don't know these people. You can't say you know the psychology behind her. Who is she to judge whether Kylie is cool or not, whether she's insecure or not? I mean, man, like I know that it may be perceived as me being hypocritical because it seems like I'm potentially judging her. And the thing is, I mean, you can view it however you want, but I'm not judging her. I'm judging what she's saying. If she was just talking and giving her opinion on stuff and sharing her opinion and we had a difference in opinion, I would potentially share my opinion and say how I felt about the situation, but I wouldn't be looking at her if what she was saying wasn't harmful like this, if she wasn't being called out at this very moment for really damaging things that she has said, saying that D'Angelo Wallace doxed her on Twitter, talking about having dreams about Justin Bieber as a kid, diagnosing people with addictions and mental illness without even being qualified to them, without knowing them personally. And so I can't say whether she's a good person or a bad person. I'm not interested in making that judgment. What I am interested in is talking about why I have a problem with what she's saying. And I have a lot of problems, but let's just power through these last few minutes of it.
Wow, that is a tycoon in the making. That's a robber baron. I love it. So here's what we know so far. You got to start with yourself, right? Start by doing something physical, whatever it is. Get that confidence up. Move your body. Yes, our mind creates our body. Stress will literally cause cancer and infertility, but our bodies also create our mind. It's a proven fact that if you stand in the Superwoman pose, stand with your hands on your hips for, I think, 1.5 to 2 minutes, your confidence goes up and dopamine is released. Wild. So get moving. Also, get dorky. Get dorky. Connect with those parts of yourself when you were a kid, when you just experienced pure joy, whether it was at the library or throwing a birthday party for your dog. I threw a lot of birthday parties for my dog. Or ice skating or whatever it was. Go back to that and literally spend one whole day doing that. Have an inner child party for yourself and really see how that makes you feel. See if you get a little bit more knowledge about who you are and where you want to go. If it's like, okay, I really liked dinosaurs when I was a kid, not super into the stegosauri right now, but I had such a cool time at the Natural History Museum. I want to take some classes there. I want to take an art class there. It's a gateway to a lot of other aspects of your personality that maybe you're not tapping into, right? Next, find another alpha and lean into it. Learn. Either you're going to learn from her, like wonderful traits, or you're going to learn from her mistakes, right? Either way, it's data and it's knowledge, and that gives you knowledge about yourself. And what? Red flags become deal breakers. You are going to go into the world and say, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. And you know what that makes you? A leader. Because here's what a leader does. A leader...
I'm not going to talk too much on this, but it seems like the whole, like, find another alpha, lean into her, it seems very much like you're using this other person to potentially just kind of, like, snag their traits and integrate them on yourselves. I mean, I'm very much of the belief that, like, you should never be the smartest person in the room, like that whole phrase, you know, like you should always be trying to find people who elevate you and who bring you up and who you can say you are doing really great things with your life, you're working really hard, you're always improving on yourself. Like, I want to be around people who are trying to bring themselves up, who are trying to be good people, live fulfilling lives, be happy with themselves. And so I understand that, but I just think it's odd to think like I'm gonna find a person who is an alpha who looks like what I think a successful person looks like, and I'm gonna like kind of adopt their own stuff as my own. It's just the way she's phrasing it is kind of off-putting to me.
Leader makes decisions. First of all, a leader is a pack builder. Alphas are pack builders, right? They don't just stand up for themselves. They stand up for other people. Barack Obama, pack builder. Bernie Sanders, pack builder. Kamala Harris, pack builder. Donald Trump, not a pack builder. He oppresses and divides. Again, you don't like it, don't watch it. So you are going to show these leadership capabilities, and people are going to be magnetized by that because you're going to demonstrate fearlessness. It's going to look like fearless.
I think she thinks that by saying that she seems like a strong, decisive woman who knows her deal breakers. But I don't know. I'm just of the belief that, like, you can disagree with somebody or not like some of the things they say and still be friends with them or still subscribe to their channel. There are plenty of commentary channels who have posted things or posted videos and talked about topics in videos, and I didn't like their take on these things, but I still like them. Like, I still am interested in hearing what they have to say, because you don't have to agree with somebody on every single thing they post to follow them and to support them or to be their friend or to subscribe to them. I just think it's a very limiting belief to have. It's really going to kind of compress you down and put you in this little box as opposed to letting you expand and just be open-minded. But that's her opinion, and she's entitled to it.
To other people who haven't done this work, who maybe aren't alphas, but to you, it's just streamlined decision making. Well, of course I'm going to help this person. Well, of course I don't want that kind of energy in my life. Well, of course I'm going to go after this opportunity, because you've identified who you are, what you need, what you bring to the table, and what you will and won't accept. So you are moving through life at hyper speed compared to everyone else. You're optimized. And that's going to make you so much more successful. You're going to make friends easier because you know what you do and don't want. You're going to magnetize boys because they're going to be like, damn, I want to be around that girl. Quality guys will. Boys won't. Boys want someone who's weak and malleable, and they're impatient. They want to get in and get out, literally. And so they're going to take one look at you, and you're going to take one look at them and be like, nah. And you're going to weed them out. And you're not going to have boy problems anymore, right? And then you're going to start to achieve things because you have time that is now optimized and you're using it. You're setting goals now. You're starting that business. You're going back to school. You're learning that 5th language. And you feel good about yourself. And baby, you're an alpha.
All right.
Welcome. It's really not as hard as you think. And it's actually really fun. It's really fun to fall in love with your own life. Because like I said, you're in this real estate 24 hours a day. You might as well enjoy it. Clean it up, renovate it, because you know what? You can't burn it down. You can fill it with a bunch of crap like an emotional hoarder and end up in that methy cornfield, or you can do the work and love where it is you're living. If you guys have other questions on this, follow me on the Instant Go app and click chat to get connected. My username is ShallonXO, and I'm ShallonXO on Instagram. Find me on there and connect with me. I love it. Okay. And be sure and listen to my new podcast, Girl on Top, out every Wednesday.
Alrighty, so that's Shallon. I think her personality is one that is entertaining. Like, she's very outgoing, apparently. She seems to be an extrovert. She likes to kind of make jokes and get into, like, big hand movements and throwing her voice and doing different stuff like that. And it's very entertaining to watch. Absolutely. I understand why people like what she has to say. But what she's actually saying isn't the greatest. So the base ideas of what she's saying in the video, you know, treat yourself well, eat well, move your body, you know, make sure that you're taking care of you first. Great. Expand on your interests, learn what you like, learn what you don't like, learn a new skill, do something that makes you happy and makes you feel good. Great. Find people to elevate you, lean into that, see people who have what you want, and, you know, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to bring you up instead of take you down and keep you stuck. Like, those are totally fine points, but the attitude behind them is just so competitive and petty and judgmental, and I don't think that it's a healthy attitude to have. And I don't like the idea of, because she talks a lot about like, oh, high school, Shawn Mendes, like her target audience appears to be younger females. I don't like the idea of a girl in high school looking at themselves and saying something like, oh, well, I'm learning a new language, so I'm better than this person who's interested in makeup because learning a new language is a dorky thing. And SHALLON said that, like, oh, you know, fashion and being a model isn't interesting, and so because she has an interest that aligns with that side of the coin, I'm better than her. I think we have to really, if you're gonna give life advice like this, it's really probably a good idea to encourage accepting all kinds of interests, understanding that just because we're not alike doesn't mean that we're not both equally interesting, equally compelling, equally motivated, and confident and driven individuals. You don't have to be the same to accept people and to love them. Overall, not a huge fan. Like I said, her personality seems very fun and very entertaining, and I think she could do some really cool stuff, and the way she speaks could resonate with a lot of people, and obviously it does. Like, her personality does, because before she went private, she had over 300,000 subscribers, and so obviously people like watching her. It's just what she says in her videos and some of the ways she's expressed herself are just really harmful when you get down to it. And so we got to call this stuff out. We have to have conversations about it. Smokey Glow was talking about how YouTube is kind of like a self-policing platform. You know, you can talk about anything you want in any way you want. And so we've kind of got, you know, we don't have the FCC who's going to fine us for saying a swear word on a YouTube video, or they're going to tell us, oh, if it's TVMA, it's this, if it's 14 plus, it's this. Like, these are your outlines or your guidelines of what you can and can't put in here. We can technically put in whatever we want, and so we have to say, this is the type of culture that we will accept, and this isn't. And I think it's really great that we're talking about this, because the videos I've seen on her have not been like hateful or malicious. Some of them have been very passionate, and I think that that's absolutely okay, and it's important to talk about this stuff. But I would love to hear what you think about this whole situation, potentially the video, Shaolin in general, anything you want to say, go ahead and leave it in a comment below. And while you were doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you've subscribed already, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.